Welcome to the family with
Hackmaster Ralph Babash, MD.
Alex Bernard Rasmussen.
Co-host Catherine Brandt.
Sage Rasmussen.
And Andy Brandt Bernard.
I thought you were going to say the famous Sage Rasmussen.
Can you tell it's summer break 2024?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can you? Absolutely.
You got kid camp.
Kid camp.
Okay, one thing I'm very happy, and I wanted to start the show with it this morning because I'm very happy about this,
Okay.
is that there are people now stepping up, and you can find them. What are you doing?
Looking for Jude.
He's in here.
Oh, okay.
He visited me.
You. There you
Oh,
go.
here he
coming
is.
back.
He just
Yep.
came in.
You just had to say hi.
Okay.
It's just
Hi,
like checking
Judy.
Andy out.
Yep.
What's
I'm
going
gonna
on?
shut this just in case there's wayward food.
There's no
Particles?
food. He didn't bring in any food.
No
No,
particles.
Just in case.
There you go.
Sage, you have him on backwards, babe.
Doesn't really matter.
I
Doesn't
suppose.
really matter.
Whatever's comfortable.
We're,
Okay.
You do you.
We're a mono podcast.
Here's what I like about what's going on in the world right now. You've got about 20 people that are doing their impression of Donald Trump, which I find impressions very, very funny.
That one guy on Instagram's hilarious.
He's hilarious when he does it. There's now a woman, it's a very attractive white woman actually, that does a perfect impression of Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
It's great. Have you seen it yet? Have
An
any of you seen
attractive white woman.
it? No, I mean, well, wouldn't you say she's a very pretty woman? I would say so.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what her name is. Oh,
You got that penchant for blondes.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Penchant for blondes.
Penchant. Okay, I'm not going to play the whole deal, but I want to play a little bit because she nails the Kamala Harris, just like the guy. I don't know the guy's name that does Trump.
I sent you the link.
Yeah, you did,
Yeah,
but I
fine.
can't remember his name.
Google Trump impression. I'm going to get 1 billion different people.
You are
Yes.
indeed. But here is this woman. I lost the comment asking for her song lyrics read in Kamala's voice, but here you go. This is a woman doing an impression of Kamala Harris. I think she just nails it.
If you wake up, okay, and don't want to smile, if it takes a little while, okay,
It does sound like that.
listen, open your eyes, okay, and look at the day, okay, you gotta look at the day. You do. And listen, you'll see things in a different way, okay? Listen, full stop. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Okay? Don't stop, because it'll soon be here, okay? It'll soon be here.
She does cackle.
She nails that thing.
That's funny.
I can tell you that I've maybe heard Kamala Harris talk 2 times.
Yeah, I have no idea.
She
what
talks
sounds
in
like.
sort of this circular.
She does.
Well, I guess she-
Alex,
I guess she
being a
talks like
parent
that.
is
Yeah.
very hard because parenting is hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And being a parent is hard. So therefore, a hardship is being a parent. So
Okay.
therefore, and that's
Just
how she
like
talks.
Beating
It
a dead
is.
horse.
She
Just,
just
like that
she,
woman.
what
how
is
she
it
talks.
says
What
the
is
same
the-
sentence in just different configurations over and over.
What is the coconut tree? Didn't she talk something about coconuts or a coconut tree?
There was some weird thing about the coconut tree that went all over
Coconut.
the place too.
Yeah, apparently that's a thing.
What is it
The
that she
internet
talk-
has entered its Kamala Harris coconut tree era.
Yeah, what does that mean?
hell?
I follow this woman that she's a comedian and she posts things as different people's publicists. And she was like Kamala Harris's publicist. And she was talking about, she was like, okay, the coconut tree thing, I love it. But can we stop? It doesn't make any sense. We need to figure something out that people can understand. And I'm like, what is the coconut
Apparently,
tree thing?
her mother used to say, "I don't know what's wrong with you young people. Did you just fall out of a coconut tree?"
Oh, it's that
And
deal.
so
Yeah.
people are making that a thing.
Okay.
I don't know.
His name is
Sounds
Noah
forced
Ryan.
to me.
No, what is it?
Noah Ryan.
Oh, God, I thought you said Nolan Ryan.
Did you
It's like
ever?
the
Did you
pitcher.
play the one about the ear?
No, play that. Oh, God, yes, because we had a
Okay,
great
let's see
Kamala
if I-
Harris impression right there. Now we get the great Donald Trump
Let me see if
impression.
I can figure out.
They're
how
both
to-
really good at it.
Wait.
No,
No,
this
stop,
Noah
stop,
Ryan.
stop, stop talking. Okay.
You having problems?
But quite frankly, I would have one ear, and probably I would have the greatest one ear of any one-eared person ever, okay? You look at Vincent Van Gogh, okay? I love that name, Van Gogh. You got Gough like a cough, okay? But quite frankly, I would have such a great one ear. I probably would have better hearing than Superman, okay? And with one ear, you know, Sleepy Joe, he's got 2 ears, and he can barely hear what he's thinking. He can barely hear what he's saying. I don't know what he's saying, quite frankly. But
Aren't they just? I
He's-
love
He
impressions.
does a great job. I mean, he sounds just like
He looks
him.
like a young. What's his face?
Yeah, Noah Ryan. We should try
The
to see if
guy
we can get him on the podcast.
That we know
We
that
should
does
get both these
impressions.
people on.
Who's the guy that we know that does impressions? Frank Caliendo. He kind of looks like a young
Oh.
Frank Caliendo.
Oh, does
I
he?
could see that.
Oh.
sort
Oh,
of.
okay.
Yeah.
Is Frank on tour? Speaking of Frank Caliendo, is he,
Oh,
around? Is he
yeah,
working?
he was
He was
in
just here not
studio.
that long
Yeah,
ago.
He
Yes,
was.
sir.
Oh yeah, he's got that squint that Frank
Yeah.
does.
And like his head
Yeah.
shape's kind of similar,
Mhm.
and he
The
just kind of
heart-shaped
looks
face.
a little. Yeah, he just looks kind of like him.
Oh, there's a picture of him with Frank Caliendo.
Oh, really?
Wow.
There you go.
Aren't they sweet?
So there you go.
Separated
Aren't
at
they
birth.
sweet? Or maybe it's his son, because this Noah Ryan person looks young.
Yeah, he looks like he's probably still in college, if not high school.
Or he
What?
could be just
Really?
one of those guys that looks young.
Yeah, some people.
Also, yeah,
it's hard to say.
It's like,
Yeah.
I know, like college kids.
How about people
Yeah.
that are
Men
driving
and women.
cars? You're like,
No,
they're 12. How can
absolutely.
they be
I know,
driving a car?
sometimes.
I feel like-
They're 12.
I feel like college
Yeah.
kids, it's either like you should be in junior high, or some of them, it's like, why are you 40?
Yeah,
What's going
that's-
on
Yeah.
here?
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
weird.
Melissa just said the other day we were at Target and she was talking about like she saw some college student that looked super young, and I was like, I find that as I get older, that's every college student.
Yes.
Like
Well, they are young.
look
For 20.
well because you
That's young.
remember being in college and everyone seeming like they're
Yeah.
grown
Adults.
adults.
Like, yeah.
and now you look back at them and
Yes.
you're like, is that what I looked like when I was 20?
Yeah,
And
you
I know.
realize
I
that
looked
your children
really,
in
really young when I
college.
was 20.
Yeah, you did.
I looked,
did look really
yeah,
young.
I looked very young for a very long time, and it's
I
and then all of a sudden
have always dressed like a mother.
Yes,
so
you
I
did.
look older than
that
I
helps.
I didn't try to look older than I was. I just dressed like a mom, even in high school.
Yes.
See,
So
Just your style. It's
Yeah.
okay.
mom style
Mom style.
with my tie-dye Mickey Mouse t-shirt.
you got your Mickey
Hey,
Mouse
I've got Minnie
t-shirt.
Mouse on today.
Hey, did you wash it?
I did.
Oh, nice. That's great.
What do you mean? Did you wash
I brought it down to Orlando to the dance convention thing, and I was like, and I don't know. I think I must have dragged a sleeve,
Oh,
behind
yeah.
me or something when
Yep.
I was going through the airport because this is like the perfect weight for the plane, and I was like, I've got to put this on because it's the convention center was. It must have been 45 degrees in there. It was so cold.
like so muggy and hot outside, and
People
then
were
the convention
wearing
center was
down coats
freezing.
inside under blankets, just trying to stay warm. I mean, it was that cold. It was freezing. So
real-
I was wearing this a lot, and I was like, oh my God, I look like I'm unhoused.
Unhoused, not homeless, but
Unhoused.
unhoused. Yes. I love that there's a big difference between unhoused and homeless.
Well, there
What?
isn't.
Well, it's the same
There's no
thing.
difference. It's
Well,
the same
like I said,
thing.
we're
I know.
just trying to normalize words.
Yeah.
Or living rough.
Yeah. Living
Mhm.
rough is what they always said that in Europe.
That's right,
Living
living
rough.
rough. But
Rough.
Yeah.
Well, it's like how we turned colored people into people of color. It's
I
like
know.
it's the
What's the
same.
difference?
It's the same phrase.
I know. It's the same
Pamela,
thing.
is that
Just-
a Pamela Harris kind of thing to change things like that? Color people into people of color?
Yeah, just
Just circular?
rotate it. Yeah.
Whatever it is that makes people happy, I just
Yeah, do what you
let
need
it
to do.
have a fun time with it.
I
Enjoy.
guess
I
so.
don't care. You want me to call you people?
Well,
call
I
me.
think living rough and homeless or unhoused, however you want to put it, that's the ultimate freedom. Absolute
Depending
ultimate.
on-
Unless
depending
you're
on why.
dependent on drugs.
Yeah.
Well, no, but it's the ultimate freedom. Aside from that,
Aside from the
Mary, how was the play?
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, but aside from the drug addiction, the psychiatric issues, which part of the addiction process is the whole thing is all kind of related to freedom because you can do anything that you want and you have no bills. You don't have to answer to anybody. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to go to work.
No.
There's just nothing to, and you can, and with a little savvy, you can gain weight being rough.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, down in Florida,
Oh, yeah,
in West Palm
absolutely.
Beach where we are, there's a lot of very overweight homeless people.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, very obese.
Or where are they getting the food?
I have no idea.
There's a church about 3 blocks
Yeah.
from our house.
That can't be the only thing.
I don't think
Oh,
so.
no.
3
it's not the
meals a
only
day
one.
is not going to get you
Well,
that
God,
heavy.
Talk about coconuts. You can find a coconut in Florida.
Yeah, you
Sure
can. That's
can.
If you
true.
like coconut, you can gain some weight off of those.
Though, I think that you can gain weight by going to the church and going to the soup kitchen because
Really?
you go and get another bowl and you get another bowl.
Well, the churches,
You got a
I think
bowl.
they only do it once a week.
Okay.
But that's only one specific place. There's I'm
Yeah.
sure a million other places.
Yeah, there's
to
a
get free food.
Catholic church down there, and that's why there's so many in that area that do a lot of services.
No, or you
for
just
homeless.
dumpster dive by a grocery store. Every day they throw out
They do,
literal tons
Yep.
of food.
They
Well,
do.
I mean, like I said, we live in an area there where there's. I mean, it's not a terrible homeless problem, but there's a homeless problem.
There's more than you'd want.
Yeah, and you see the garbage. You see the
Mhm.
empty pizza boxes discarded. You see the
Beer bottles everywhere.
alcoholic beverages
Mhm.
consumed and just thrown on the ground. They're not eating the healthiest food.
Well, but that's the thing.
When
It's
they are
like, okay,
buying it.
yeah, you're homeless and you're an alcoholic, but why do you have to throw your bottles on the ground?
Right.
Why can't you just walk the 10 feet to the garbage can?
I know
and
that's
put it
one
in
of
there?
one of my pet peeves is like it's like, okay, this guy's parking on a park bench. He's using up space. No
Mhm.
kids are over there now because this guy's been here for 3 weeks. There's 3 garbage cans within 5
Yep,
feet of
they're
his
everywhere.
bench, and he throws all the garbage on the ground
Yep.
at his feet. And it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, that's why no one likes them, is because they
I
make
mean,
it your problem.
Just throw it in the garbage can. And I know that there's nobody's telling me what to do. I'm not following the rules. I'm not doing anything that society wants me to do. There's a big aspect of that
So
in some people.
they want to abandon the social
I
contract.
think
Yeah,
so.
basically.
They just want to check out
Total
of that
anarchy.
completely.
I think
Yep.
there is a lot of that. And our friend Alan, who walks and he talks to a lot of the homeless
He
guys
does,
because
yeah.
some of them are vets and he's
Mhm.
a vet. And he
Mm.
has spoken to one guy who he isn't an addict, but he's definitely something's wrong with him
Cuckoo for
mentally.
Cocoa Puffs.
There's something wrong with him. But what he does is he lives on a little sailboat that somebody gave him for free.
Right.
And in the
Yep.
intercoastal waterway, you can just moor. As long as you're not in a shipping lane, you can moor anywhere. And that's his permanent address.
Wow.
And he has a bike. And he has been down in West Palm Beach for 15, 17 years, something like that.
Long
He's
time.
like, it's great. He said, I get treated like a king. I don't have to pay for anything. The state gives me a preloaded credit card sort of situation, EBT card, whatever.
Mhm.
If I go into the hospital, they treat me like a king. I don't have to pay for anything. He said, I've just been absolutely free of all of the things that people have to do. Having a job for 17 years.
Well, I don't quite understand. He's got the boat, but the boat must be adjacent to shore to get his bike on land.
I don't think he ever spends any time on the boat. It's in order to get Social Security checks and things, you have to have a permanent address, and you can have a permanent address somehow on a boat.
Huh.
Okay. So, well, he
guess
has
if
to
you-
get out to the boat. How's he get out to the boat?
Little dinghy.
Dinghy?
Dinghy.
Somebody will bring him over there.
Oh.
People are very nice when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Okay. yeah,
Helping people
because
out.
that is a separate community.
Yeah.
A separate
Mhm.
community where they, oh, come on. Hey, I got to get out of my boat. Oh, sure.
And there's
sure,
a
come on, jump on.
lot of support for homeless people in like Minnesota and in Florida and
Mhm.
in California. That's why there's so much of it. I mean, 65,000 people die every year of fentanyl overdoses on the
Jesus,
streets.
Unbelievable.
Those are
I
on the
don't-
street. Those
those are on the
are
streets.
unhoused.
Mm-hmm.
Unhoused.
Not all.
Unhoused.
Most.
Well,
But-
how many people die annually? Kids in Wayzata that are dying because they overdo it, or
Right.
Yeah,
in
not-
Edina,
yeah, that does
or
happen.
Minnetonka.
Yeah.
I mean, or adults. I mean, not just
People-
kids, but adults.
Well, now they're having free Narcan vending machines
I know.
on the streets of
Hmm.
Yep.
Minneapolis.
People just they'd rather almost die and then get loaded up with Narcan and then do it again than stop.
So you just carry it around with you.
It's just
Well, you
available.
can't carry it around because by the time you need it, you're not in any position to use it. Yeah.
But shouldn't every user just be given a, lifetime supply then, if that's what we're going to do? And then it's in their pockets. And if you see somebody OD, you can give them their Narcan. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, because one time somebody's going to, OD behind a dumpster and no one's going to see them.
Right.
Mhm.
well, that's true. That's going
And
to happen.
there's not going to be a vending machine.
Or you might pass out. People think you think you've taken fentanyl or a narcotic, but you didn't. You took something else,
Yeah. Oh,
and they
that's-
give you the Narcan. That doesn't do any good.
Nope.
That doesn't do any
happen.
good for ice, or doesn't do any good for cocaine.
Oh,
or
it doesn't?
crack. No,
No.
It's
no, it
only
doesn't.
for fentanyl?
Only for the fentanyl.
Well,
Just-
it's for any opiate. It's an opiate
Yeah.
receptor
Oh, okay.
agonist.
I remember the first time we ever saw somebody, we were in New York with you, Alex, at an ice cream store.
Pinkberry.
At Pinkberry. And there was a woman just slouched over like a zombie.
She
Mhm.
was.
And I
Yeah.
thought she was dead.
I did too.
I watched her back for a long time to see if she was breathing, and I could detect no movement. And I'm looking around, and these parents are sitting there with their kids, and they looked at her and they just slide right in.
Yep.
Yep.
And they're
That's
eating their ice
reality
cream, and
for
I'm like,
them.
is anybody concerned
Nope.
about this
That's
woman?
life in the city they've chosen to live in.
So we went up and said something to the counter. We're like, I think this woman might be dead. And I think maybe 30 minutes later, she finally made some sort of a groaning,
Right,
moaning
right.
movement. And by then
Yep.
we were like, well, I guess we've done all we can do. Other than, I don't want to call the cops on her. I don't know.
Right.
if
Why
that's-
not?
Well,
The police are there to serve and help,
I
not
think if
to
you had
get hassle and throw her out.
I just think calling 911 in Manhattan
Yeah. What are they going to show
for
up in
an
5
OD,
days?
I don't even know if they'd show up.
Yeah. No, they probably
I don't
wouldn't.
even know.
Unless you they might say does she have a pulse? And if you say yes, they'll be like, all right, then we don't
Well,
care.
And it might have even been before we had cell phones. No, it wasn't. We had cell phones. I guess we could have called. I don't know. We told the people to call.
She passed it off on someone
Well,
else.
They had a
That's
phone.
really-
And the woman was in the shop.
This is you criticize people for photographing incidents rather than calling. It's one of those things is that I think we've come into a society where okay, oh, you're laying in the street, well, knock yourself out. Oh, you don't look like you're breathing. Well, maybe you should took too
Oh,
many
we
drugs.
definitely have come to
No,
that.
I've done exactly the same thing in the Tenderloin in San Francisco. Someone laying on the street, and I just sort of said, "Well, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I
what
don't-
am I
Oh,
going to do?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Am I going to call the police?" I felt exactly the same way, and that's a problem that's
Yes.
endemic. We should care for each other at some level, but we don't. We say if you laying in the street and you look like you're dead or you are dead, well, you're dead.
Well, and coming from Minneapolis didn't used to have a lot of homeless
Mhm.
people. We had very few.
It's just so cold.
About 15 years ago, it started. I
Mhm.
would say, and it's growing and growing and growing every
Yep.
single year. So when we would go someplace that had a big homeless problem, it was shocking to us, and it was also upsetting. It was like, oh my God, all these people seem to be like not doing well. They should be, help. Why? And people that live there are like, what's he doing to you? Why can't he just do drugs in dignity? And they would
Do
like
drugs
yell
in
at you for
dignity.
being upset about seeing
yeah.
this situation.
Yeah. Why can't they
So-
just throw needles all over the place?
Everything's
and-
perspective, right?
Mm.
Everything.
I guess so. Well, there's a reason everyone's leaving those areas, and they only have themselves to blame. You can clean up your city, or everyone's going to leave your city. One of the two.
I don't think everybody. Well, I think there's a lot of people that embrace any of those policy changes.
A lot of people are leaving those areas. Pretty much every major city like that is losing population in the country.
Well, and certainly they're losing retail space downtown Minneapolis.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure
Minneapolis
they are.
lost almost 14,000 people in 2022, I think.
And
2021.
what happens is over time, depending on what means you have, if you're at the top of the wealth food chain, you're out of there in a second because you just walk away from a
Yep.
$2 million apartment, a $3 million apartment.
Yeah.
But as you get further and further down, it takes time to sell that apartment. You might take a loss at some point.
We just
Some
talked
people-
to somebody last night or yesterday. His aunt lived in the Carlisle,
There you
downtown
go.
Minneapolis.
Yeah. Yep.
And after the whole George Floyd thing happened, she just
That's what we did. Yeah, we got the
moved.
hell out.
Well, it's a good move.
Carlisle isn't cheap.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. You got me thinking about this because, and I won't say which grocery store because it wasn't the grocery store's fault. Fault.
I didn't know they could do that.
Drop the
Grocery
puck.
Stores.
Yeah, drop the puck.
Kind of-
But in any case, if I had been wearing sandals, this would have been a huge problem.
Ooh.
You and sandals.
I don't wear sandals.
Dad, your camera's pointing to the ceiling.
How did that happen? Oh, it just fell over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just got pulled.
Your camera's pointing. Dad, your camera's pointing at the ceiling. There you go.
Connect on there.
Oh, it looks like it lost a.
No, it doesn't
no, it
connect.
just
It
drapes.
just sits on there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just have here. Let me help
Well, it
you.
looks like it's got a little screw thing in the
Let me
back.
help you.
You can
That's
see the
not-
top of my noggin now.
There you go.
What'd you
Sorry,
fall out of a
Sorry,
coconut
Ralph.
tree?
Sorry,
I did. I
Ralph.
fell out of a coconut tree. Oh, Alex is taking care of it.
I'm on it.
You're all over it like a cheap suit.
That's me.
There you
Oh,
go.
so
There
that's
it is.
that's the
there's-
one
look
part.
at
It
her.
Look
unsnapped
at
somehow.
that. Look at
Thank
that.
you.
Our
Look at that.
grips.
Look at that majestic pose.
But in any case, so I'm over, it was in South Minneapolis. I won't even say the street it was on because, again, it wasn't the grocery store's fault. But I pulled up. I'm going to run in and buy some groceries over there. And I stepped out of the car and I heard this crack. And I looked down and it was a hypodermic needle that I
Oh,
stepped
that
on.
happened to me in Manhattan. We went into a phone booth for some strange reason.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
put I think I was calling you.
Mhm.
And I put my elbow down, and right next to it was a hypodermic needle.
Oh,
I went, oh
Jesus.
my Lord. And that's a long time ago.
Don't touch
Oh,
anything.
a phone booth?
Yeah,
I'd say-
yeah. There are no phone booths anymore.
What
I don't
century
think.
was
Probably
that?
30. It was probably. Well, I'm just saying. That's what I'm saying.
Whoa.
This was
Yeah,
30
there you
years
go.
ago.
What's
It was 30 years ago.
well? Here's a question.
And so it's been
Sage, what's
there.
a phone booth?
Yeah, what's a phone booth, Sage?
There are things that even 20-year-olds know
Mm-hmm.
that children have no concept.
Yep.
My
No, it's true.
yeah, my grandson was in a motel room, and he picked up a wireless phone, one of the things with cordless phone,
Yeah.
Yep.
and he was trying to change the TV channel.
Oh, yeah.
Change
Yep.
the TV
Oh,
channel.
yeah.
And his dad says, "Yeah, that's not that's a telephone." His comment, "For real? Never seen it.
No,
No.
I've never seen it. They'll never see a CD, DVD."
no, not unless it's in an old movie.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, by the
See
time
it.
I was 20, I had already, like no kid was using cassette tapes when I was a 20-year-old.
Yeah,
No.
That'd have been 2006.
No, CDs really replaced things fast.
They sure did.
Yeah.
As soon as the CD was invented, cassette tapes were dead.
Mhm.
and if you look at computers now, they don't even come with a CD,
CD drives,
DVD
nope.
player,
No.
anything.
Nope.
They don't.
Zero, nothing.
You have
Yeah.
to buy an external CD drive if you want
Oh,
one.
That's
And
right.
we bought one for use with something. I forget what. We used it one time. We haven't used it since.
Yeah.
We have CDs in our house, but we're just like, I guess we'll never know what's on these. Because,
It's a bizarre
well, SD cards.
acceleration in technology.
SD cards are just, they're better than CDs in pretty much every way, except for cost. But I mean, it's like, you can get a terabyte SD card now for what, like $50?
If that.
And a terabyte will hold anything you have. So,
But the thing is, with the backups, look what's happened with the airlines. People are in airports for 4 days now because of that.
Yeah, that's true.
What actually happened? Was it-
Wait
were
a
they
second.
hacked?
Wait a second.
Were they
Tell me someone is stranded in an airport for 4 days. Do they know
Oh.
about cars? They
Yeah,
know about
really.
rental
There are
cars?
0 cars available because a lot of people got them already. There's 0 cars available.
But
4 days people are tweeting and talking about on Instagram.
So there's absolutely
and this
there's,
is
there's
mid-
no lift service.
Atlanta.
There's no Uber service. There's no place and to get anywhere else where you can rent a car.
it's like
I
they've
mean, they're
never,
not solving a problem.
it's like
but
they've never
they're
heard
just
of
sitting
putting on roller skates and hanging onto someone's bumper.
there you
Yeah,
go.
there
the
you
only way to
go.
get around.
Yeah, exactly.
Get around, no problem.
That was a
whatsoever.
CrowdStrike thing.
CrowdStrike, that's what it
CrowdStrike is a security firm that I don't exactly know what it is, but basically they pushed out a bad update, which put everyone's systems went down when they updated them.
And Delta was one of them.
Yes, a lot of people were one of them.
So they might be losing market share.
I think they might be, losing a little bit of market share, or
People are mad.
not existing anymore fairly soon.
I got to go back about 5 minutes because this will not get out of my head. You're talking about CDs. You're talking about, cassettes and all that stuff you just don't see anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Sage, you wouldn't even know what that stuff is. I remember, Sage, when I was 4 years old, 1955, our family was the first family at 1200 Spruce Place, an apartment building, that got a television.
Wow.
And I will never forget this. Like I said, 1955, I had just turned 4 years old. They brought the television in. The screen was about the size of a 45.
Oh,
Yeah.
one of
old
those teeny
40
ones.
one of those- the screen was about 9 inches, maybe. The case that it came in, the build out with all the tubes and all the rest of it, was about the size of this room.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God.
Probably at least 500 pounds.
Oh, it weighed about 500 pounds. That's
Mhm.
exactly
They
right.
had
It
those
was
big
gigantic.
tubes.
Yep.
Vacuum tubes. Yep.
Mhm.
But I'll never forget the screen was
Be
about
very
this. And the
careful
first
down
thing we
there.
watched was
Quartz, please. Thank you.
what's the one with King Kong?
Oh,
Wow.
King Kong was the
which
first thing
looks
that.
so incredibly fakey now.
Well,
but-
of course.
Yes, that's true.
So
Oh,
incredibly
that
fakey.
is-
Think
Sage,
about
do you know
in-
who King Kong is?
You know?
King Kong's still a
No.
thing,
Oh,
but
yeah,
you're
King
way
Kong.
too young for
King
it.
Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah.
King Kong
Yeah.
versus everybody else. Yeah,
What's the
King-
new one? Is it Cross or is it X? How do you pronounce it?
I don't
King
know.
Kong something Godzilla. I don't know if it's an X.
Versus. I thought it was at a versus.
And
No, it's an
Also-
X.
It's an X.
And with-
Okay.
including
Oh, it's Godzilla X Kong. In Japan, they would pronounce it Cross, but I'm assuming it's X here.
yeah, which
I don't know what that means exactly.
Yeah, I don't either.
They teamed up.
Okay, there
They
you go.
defeated Mechagodzilla in the
So-
previous movie.
So let's look at the parallels between the Godzilla movies, and professional wrestling. Because
Oh yes. Well, there you go.
you got your heels, and then you got your heroes. What's the name of a not a heel? The opposite of a heel in professional wrestling?
The face.
Oh, the face. So you got the face. You got your faces, and your heels.
Mhm.
So Godzilla, he's sort of gone. They've gone a tag team.
He's done
as
it,
two
yeah.
faces,
A heel for his turn, yeah.
because each of them have been a heel.
Yep.
Oh, what an unbelievable thing! Exactly what they're doing, which is great marketing. I think it's just.
Well, that's
one
how
of the best.
Marvel was. Everyone's a villain, and then they become a hero, or there's a lot of like anti-heroes that become heroes, heroes that become anti-heroes. Everything's got to be muddled now. There's no just like this is the undisputed good guy, and this is the bad guy, and the good guy's gonna win. Although in Marvel, the good guy always wins, regardless.
That's a good.
Given a long enough period of time, the good guy will win in a Marvel movie.
God, I was just thinking about what you're talking about. I have many, many, many friends that were professional wrestlers.
Yeah, I know.
But my friends were always the bad guy.
You were always.
Well, the heels were the most popular for a long time.
They were.
Sage,
yeah.
these are pictures of
Well, I suppose Greg
Godzilla.
Gagne, he was a good guy.
Yeah.
Greg Gagne was a good guy. Vern's son. Greg's
Okay.
a great guy.
You can only have so many faces. There's always going to be like 2 or 3 at a time that are like,
Yeah.
they get all the marketing and everything, but each face has to defeat multiple heels. Therefore, the bad guys are always there. There's going to be a lot more of them, and you're probably going to know about more of them.
Yeah, and then they have to switch. They do change back and forth. I think one of the best entertainment bits you can possibly get. Currently, we watched a little bit of it. I think it was one of the best things ever to watch.
Oh, it's true.
What a great show! Oh, what a great show! I just remember one time when I was watching as a kid, where the guy started eating the microphone. He got so worked up. He started chewing on the microphone. It's just that shtick is just such a wonderful thing as far as just entertainment, and they're great acrobats, man. I'll tell you what, I
Yeah.
wouldn't do that stuff.
It was
They get
not.
hurt all the time.
It was not a good
Mhm.
idea back being in your early 20s, let's say, and you get together with the dog and Roy and some friends, and you drink beer while watching All-Star Wrestling at 6 p.m. So by the time you leave at 7, you're all tanked and you've been watching people beat the piss out of each other, and you're going to a bar.
Sounds like a
What a-
recipe for disaster.
What
terrible idea.
It was a terrible idea. Everybody was a tough guy. Honest to
I
God.
remember my brother Terry used to watch that, and I was like, "Why do you like watching men prance around in their underwear?"
Because they do.
Well, it is, and I don't know. Next time I get a good discussion going with some gay guy, I'm gonna say, you look at professional wrestling as being homoerotic? Because
No.
they're dressed in a lot of tight stuff.
You okay there, Judy?
They don't-
God,
Very,
God
very
knows
tight.
the women who wrestle, they're in the scantily
They sure
stuff.
are.
You know, they got a lot of, well, they got those things glued on pretty good. 'Cause otherwise, those bathing
Yeah.
suits would be coming off
Yeah, I don't know.
with the acrobats.
I'm telling Ralph and Alex and Andy and Sage all this. My lovely wife, Catherine,
Uh-oh.
met just about every professional wrestler because I used to lift weights with them. How many of those guys did you get in an argument with? Especially Hawk.
One.
You
One
and Hawk-
time.
You and Hawk used to argue all the
Well,
time.
Hawk was annoying.
Hawk was annoying.
He was
That's
annoying.
not. He
I
was
liked him, but he
wonderful-
was annoying.
He's a great guy. Remember, he hit him. We're at a restaurant.
He was one of those guys that thought he knew a lot, but really didn't.
But really didn't. Yeah, he died at 45. You
God
gotta
rest
give him
his
a-
soul.
But we're sitting at not the current location for what was the name of the restaurant again? It's in the Fauché Tower
Used to
now.
Be
Oh, the steakhouse.
where Ocean Air was in that.
The Ocean Air was in the same
Yeah,
place. Yeah,
Manny's.
Manny's. Yeah,
Manny's.
we're at Manny's, and Hawk and Catherine start arguing with one another, and they're arguing back and forth about this, that, and the other thing. And Catherine just wouldn't see Hawk's point of view. She just, nope, you're wrong, 100%. He takes out a sock full of coins, which he used as a sap, I guess, in case anybody bothered him. Hits himself over the head, and money went everywhere. I mean,
I remember
that?
what the argument was.
What was the argument?
It was about
She remembers the
it
argument.
was,
I
it
love
was about that wrestler guy that's like a God, he was like an animal. What was his name? Mike Tyson.
He's a boxer.
Not
a boxer.
box. Yeah, it was him.
It
Sorry,
was Mike Tyson,
wrestler.
the
Sorry.
boxer.
It was about the boxer, and then he was accused of
Yeah.
some hanky panky with some woman named Robin something.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that and there was some abuse allegations and all
That's
of
what
this
she
stuff.
said. Yeah. He
And-
said she wasn't wearing any underwear or something.
Well, and that's what Hawks. He was like, "Oh well, she
She
wasn't
took off her
wearing-
panty liner.
He took off the panty liner.
That's what it
I'm
was,
Like,
yes.
What does that mean?
That's what it
And
was.
who
You're
cares? What? That's well then she took off her panty liner. Well then she's just fair game for
Mhm.
anything. I mean, what are you talking about?
right. They're arguing. All of a sudden, he hits himself
Enlighten
over the
yourself a
noggin.
little bit, would you?
Well, a lesson to be learned from that is that always put your sap in a leather sack.
Yeah, exactly. Don't use a sock. Don't do
It's
it.
like, what are you?
Speaking of saps,
No, major sap.
Hey, all I know is Mike Tyson is one guy I would never want to mess with.
No.
That guy.
I don't know.
was
These
a
days, you
beast.
could probably take him.
Oh no, you couldn't.
He was.
I don't
A
know. How old
beast.
is he now?
It's got to be in his 50s, I would think.
Well,
That's
he,
it?
he had that like
He's 58.
he was
58. yeah.
biting people's ears
Yeah,
off, and
but-
he was like,
He
Yeah,
was.
Paul Holyfield, he did that. You know,
Yep.
this Jake Paul, this YouTube influencer, was going to get in the ring with him for a
Oh,
Netflix
right.
live event. And then Jake Paul came down with something just before, and they had to cancel it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh.
came down with the fear of getting killed, maybe.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's what it was.
It would have been
Illness. He doesn't want to fall ill to that.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
a bit like Johnny Knoxville fighting Butterbean, and
Yes.
Butterbean hit him once and knocked him out. I mean,
Yep.
it's God.
he wasn't only just a good boxer or a great boxer, a very strong person. He was also he had that anger to him.
Oh God, yes.
But to his self confession, he says that he was doing drugs. He had a serious drug problem like that. And the interviews that I've heard of him recently, I mean, guy's an angel, nice guy.
Yeah, that's what I
He's sort
hear.
of well spoken.
Well, he was probably on so many steroids and stuff during his prime that he was just like constantly,
I know.
agitated.
Yeah, but he it's an interesting. I mean, him now he's a different guy.
Mhm.
Mike
He-
Tyson, really?
Yeah, Mike Tyson. Oh, it's
Mhm.
entirely different. And the
Well,
interview,
Does he get along with Don King still? Because I thought that Don King was his
well,
promoter.
I don't think Don King's with us anymore.
He is.
Is
He's
Don King?
92 years old.
No.
but he's
Oh,
yeah.
still around.
Oh, I
yeah.
thought that he had passed.
No, he is. Well, he was in prison for a while for killing someone. But
Ooh.
other
Don
than
King
that-
was in prison for killing somebody.
One of his employees owed him $600, so he stomped him to death, and then went to prison for it.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, probably not.
I do remember David Letterman interviewing Don King. It might have been during the Tyson time when he was successful. And David Letterman's comment to Don King, "What's with the hair?" Because he had that hair that was teased straight up in the front.
And then Don King tried to stomp on him.
No,
And
no,
then
he received it well. It's funny.
Well, I mean, and if you've seen interviews with Mike Tyson, you do not even slightly want to go somewhere that he doesn't want to go, because if he doesn't want to talk about something, he is like ready to get you, man. I mean, he's frightened. I don't know. Again, maybe it's different now, but things I've seen, it's scary.
Absolutely. He has a presence that and a past history that, would be certainly intimidating. But, the interviews I've heard have been pretty standard. And if someone just says, no, I'm not going to talk about that, well, you shut up. I mean, you should anyhow, if you don't want to talk about that.
He'll say, why you talk about that, man?
Don't talk about that.
Why'd you bring that up? I'm not here to bring that up. I just saw a recent one where, Jesus, he went after this guy, and it's like, okay, I think we better go with a tight shot on the guy out here up because he peed his pants. I want to get that on the air.
I'd do the same around the guy if he threatened. Yeah. Certainly. Have you seen the series Tires?
No, I have not. That is with the guy from Saturday Night Live, right? That got fired. Sean Gillis?
I think his name is Sean Gillis. Yeah.
Shane Gillis.
Shane Gillis.
No, I have not. I have not.
Yeah, that's really well done. Written, self-funded, self-edited.
Wow.
And it was on Netflix, and it is there's a lot of edgy stuff in that. A lot of edgy stuff. Just like Shane Gillis's stand-up is as edgy and as out there as you can get.
Well, that's what got him the boot from Saturday Night Live before his career really on there and start, really.
Yeah, well, because he's just absolutely free with regards to what he kids about, what he talks about. Just maybe some people might say it's beyond the limits of polite society, but still, he's exercising his right to free speech as a comedian, as he should. Just like Dave Chappelle.
What did we? Oh my God! You know what it was? We watched. My oldest son finally saw Slapshot for the first time, and he didn't finish it. So he said, "Well, we got to watch this." And I said, "Oh, and I was starting to quote lines from it instantly because it is a very inappropriate, sure, for these days, comedy classic. But the places they went, Paul Newman, the places he went in that movie." It's like, oh my God, times have changed. There is just no way they could even approach doing a film like that these days.
Yeah, but they should. I mean, you should have freedom of speech. You should be able to explore those things, because when I watched Shane Gillis's stand-up, it was a challenge, and it really made you be introspective about the things you thought about and how you looked at things, and just like Dave Chappelle, they have to be edgy because that allows you to really, examine what your beliefs are, which is important. And we just don't do that because no one talks about anything like that. You have the elephant in the room, but no one wants to tease about it or laugh about it. Try to get to understand.
We have Kostaki Economopoulos on the show talking about football most of the year. And he tweeted out a joke about the attempted assassination. Oh my. People started lashing out at him, and he was just like, get off my page. This is a comedy page. If you don't like, I've never seen him angry before on anything.
No,
he was really like, we're not doing that. This is a joke, get over it. This is not I'm not a politician. I'm a comedian. Stop acting like this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I was like, whoa.
I'm just so glad that everybody listened and toned down the rhetoric.
Yeah.
Until
yesterday.
They're back at it again.
They're back at it again.
Oh my God. It's just like it didn't even happen.
No.
It's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
Switching gears, talking tornadoes. Did anybody see Twisters?
No,
we're going to, but we have, when do we have time to do that?
I feel like that would be a good one to see in a theater.
Babysitter.
See it in a theater because
Yeah.
I saw it on an IMAX screen, and the noise, I shouldn't say noise, but the sound, of course. One thing that I always point out about IMAX is the sound is just as great as the picture, and the picture's
Mhm. Right.
so there's, the last storm, the big one. They're all pretty intimidating, but the last one's like, oh my God, I'm inside of this thing. And it's a relief to walk outside of the theater after to see a clear, sunny day. And knowing that, you know what, I'm glad I don't live in Oklahoma. I talked with somebody who lived in Oklahoma for a time last week, and he said, yeah, this year, he's in touch with people there. There's over 100 tornadoes this summer already.
What?
Oh my God.
Tornadoes.
Yeah.
You used an interesting phrase there. You said you're inside the storm. Is this like Wizard of Oz-ish? Inside.
Well, no, I mean, it just felt like you were there because no, I wasn't. No, I didn't see Margaret Hamilton riding on her bike or anything like that. No, it's just so immersive because the sound is with you, around you in IMAX like that, and the screen. Apparently, there are some screens out there that do make you feel like you're in the middle of it, though. I mean, because I forget what they call it, 4DX or something. And
4D triple X.
is,
No,
yeah.
that's
4D triple. Yeah, that's a different sort of experience that I've never experienced and I don't intend to. But yeah, it's pretty amazing, even on an IMAX screen. I would think on a regular screen, it's pretty amazing. So,
so this would be a movie for the Sphere in Vegas.
Oh
Right
God,
that is.
There you go.
Might be overwhelming.
Oh, it's that might be.
Isn't there an IMAX or what are they? Is it in the Minnesota Science Museum or something? Wasn't there?
There is. Yeah, and there used to be one at the zoo.
Yeah.
Minnesota Zoo.
Yeah,
Is
that
still a
closed
thing?
down. That closed down, unfortunately, and that was bar none the best theater I'd ever been to, because that screen was 6 stories high or something weird like that. It was amazing. What an amazing place. And I wonder if the building is even I haven't been to the zoo in a while, so I'm wondering if that building is even standing anymore, but that's been shut for a number of years. But what a waste.
There was one on 94 outside of Rogers for.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a thing. St. Michael? I don't know if that's still a thing either.
St. Michael is around.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. It's nice. It was shut down for a number of years, and then the community rallied, and somehow I don't know if they have part ownership or something, but yeah, it's thriving. I mean, I go there pretty often.
See, that's not far from you.
No, it might be the closest, that one, and I'll either go to Delano, Monticello, or St. Michael. Those are the 3 closest for me.
These are IMAX,
and they're just playing regular.
The St. Michael one it used to be an IMAX screen, and then they shut down, and they call it the Eiffel screen because it's got this Moulin Rouge motif going on inside, but it's a huge screen. And then the one in Monticello, they call it the monster screen, but the technical term is premium large format. I mean, if you're not, IMAX is a brand.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just a giant ass screen. IMAX does, however, seem to have it all dialed in because, again, it is not only picture, it is sound. And that's the difference. We actually I don't know if I can talk about it yet, but my youngest son and I saw Deadpool and Wolverine last night. IMAX. And I'm not sure when the review embargo is on that, so I better be careful. But so it's really cool, man, when you see a movie like that. So, but at the same time, I wanted to recommend quickly. I mean, if you don't get out to a lot of movies on Netflix, there's a nice, mellow, sweet romantic comedy called Find Me Falling, which just opened or started last Friday with Harry Connick Jr. Just a really, and it's shot on the island of Cyprus.
Oh, pretty.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, dear God. So, I would recommend that. And I also, just to plug, talked with Harry Connick Jr., and it's on Google Forbes, Tim Lammers. You can find it. And have you ever talked with him?
A long time ago, yeah. Good guy.
Really good guy.
Yep.
Really, and so immensely talented. I mean, here he plays a fading rock star, doesn't even go down the jazz route. And he's multi-talented, man. He could probably be there's one song that sounds like a rock song that's you can hear in the background, but mostly he'll play acoustic and sing in this. But he's really, really good at that. And what was it? He's been to Minnesota a number of times too. We talked
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, and we also talked about the 35th anniversary was Sunday for When Harry Met Sally. And that was his big breakthrough. He did all the songs for that soundtrack of what I consider to be the best romantic comedy of all time, When Harry Met Sally. I don't know how you feel. Wow, what a great movie. So, there are alternatives.
Tom
But
just loves a good rom-com.
Oh yeah. No doubt about it.
well, I tell you what, I say do not waste your time on a rom-com called A Family Affair with Nicole Kidman and Zac Efron. And I like
saw that on, it keeps
it's on
popping up.
Netflix.
Yeah.
And Aka Awkward.
Oh.
That's from Pitch Perfect. Aka Awkward. It is Zac Efron plays this A-list movie star who has an assistant that he's constantly giving crap to. She says, enough of this, I quit. He goes to her house to apologize. She lives with her mom, meets the mom, played by Nicole Kidman.
Uh-oh.
Some May-December thing going on there. And next thing you know, they're going at it. And there's zero chemistry between the two. And they try to be funny. And the golden rule of comedy is don't ever try to be funny.
Don't ever try to be funny.
He looks so weird. What did he do?
Zac Efron?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
like very square and weird now.
Yeah, he's very pumped up. Of course, the obligatory let's remove the shirt thing.
Oh, yeah.
Dude is ripped.
But I mean, his jaw.
Oh, yeah.
Well, look
Looking
what
at a
happened to
picture
John
of,
Travolta. He got real square all of a sudden.
He sure did.
He had a
Yeah.
very long face, and all of a sudden he just was square.
Like-
And I don't know, it's an age thing or
Oh, they put
People-
you
Yeah,
can
it's
pump
plastic
'em up.
surgery.
You can they put those fillers in.
it's surgery.
Yeah,
reshape
people
your
have
face.
always loved Zac Efron. They're like, oh, he's so handsome and whatever. I've always found him to be kind of creepy looking. And
No, he's really creepy looking.
now he's super creepy looking. Like he just looks here. I'll show Ralph because
Why don't you show us on the screen?
I can't. do
No,
that.
she can't do that.
Oh, but you can, Andy. You tell
Okay,
her where she is.
here. This is
I knew
before
which
and
picture.
after.
Separated at birth, kind of.
It's not
Nick
loading.
Efron before and after.
Okay, so that's how he used to look. That's how he looks now.
Oh, he got his lips pumped up too.
Oh, he got the big
Which
lips.
picture are we looking at here? Are we looking at the one where he's in a gray coat and a black coat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black before, gray
As
after?
Zac Efron appears in new movie, fans speculate about jaw surgery.
Yeah.
Well, apparently he had an accident.
Oh yeah, where he broke his
Apparently he
Face?
broke his jaw. That's why.
yeah.
Really?
But I mean,
his
it
jaw
looks
shouldn't be white.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean,
I mean, he put Humpty back together again. He shouldn't look that much
I
different.
don't know.
with
You
the
take a
bone.
sledgehammer to the jaw. You know, you
Yeah,
just
I
gotta,
think they must have.
He did
they
a
might have done a few other things. Helped him.
He
out.
did a movie called The Iron Claw, which is a true story about the Von Erich brothers. And it's a wrestling movie. And it's really good. It was an independent film that came out at the end of 23. But if you can find that one on streaming somewhere, I think it's on Max. I think it might be on HBO Max, formerly HBO Max. And yeah, talk about getting built for that one. The dude, he's in a perpetual state of being ripped, I think, because he is always hulking now.
not good for your kidneys.
What's that?
Not good for your kidneys.
I know.
Sweating
Man.
constantly.
Well, we were talking, Tom, when you got up about how Ralph thinks after a while Mike Tyson calmed down because he got off all the whatever performance
Steroids and all that.
stuff that he was on. Yesterday or today, one guy you do not want to mess with. One punch and you're not only down, you might be dead.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Actually, while we're on the subject of celebrities and cosmetic surgery,
Okay.
I wonder if Tim or Ralph can speak about the new trend of buccal fat removal.
Oh, yeah.
What is that all about?
Buckle
Oh,
fat?
I'll leave that one to Ralph.
It's
What's
just
buccal
sucking your
fat?
cheeks in. Models
Google-
used to
Yeah,
have
it's
their
like-
molars removed to
It's-
reduce their
adds like-
the fullness in their cheeks.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it
Then
adds
what they
like
do
a
is
hollowness.
you
right?
just add the hollowness below your cheekbone. You got to be really careful with that because as you get older, you lose that
Yep.
fat as anyhow,
Oh,
and you can
yeah.
start looking
I
really
thought
gaunt.
I
really,
thought everybody was pumping up their cheeks with
That's
stuff.
right.
What's
Well,
happening?
No,
buccal
not
fat.
it's
The
down
buccal fat
here.
is yeah.
Skeletor.
Yeah, you end up looking like you have like this.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go.
like
Yeah,
if
it
you
looks
Google
bad.
like Zoe Kravitz,
Okay.
like a before and after, she has it. I think Emma
Yeah,
Stone,
like every
probably,
female
like a
celebrity
lot-
is
yeah.
doing
Yeah,
it.
it makes your cheekbones look a little
Yeah.
fuller.
Buccal
It gives you
fat.
that natural shadow that some people try to do with makeup,
Oh my
just below your
goodness.
cheekbone. It's if you have a round face, it can really make a nice improvement. But if you're slender already,
Yeah, you see
can-
some of these women.
can-
It's like
Okay.
they went from a slender triangular face to looking like
Skeletor.
they look like an alien from XCOM or something.
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
does not look good. And once it's gone, you can't really get it back.
Oh, you can.
Well, I was
you
going to say, is there a way to reverse it?
Not
yeah,
really. You can put
inject
fillers
fat.
in
You
there.
can
Sure.
no, you can inject fat back in, but it is a huge effort.
Well, yeah. Then
that's
it just you start looking like that woman who looks like a lion.
Oh God, yeah, that's right.
I don't know. I don't know who she was before, and if the attempt was to be somebody, I never took notice, but I do know now she looks horrible. It's
No,
it's
you-
just a tragedy.
I've told patients more than once, you will always find somebody that will operate on you or do what you want.
Yep.
You will always find somebody. If a surgeon says, don't do that, there's a reason because a surgeon makes money by doing stuff. And if they say, don't do that, there's a good reason. But some people just want to slide down the cosmetic surgery food chain and
Yep. And a lot of people they get addicted to it.
Yeah.
They just cannot stop.
that's what.
Well, and the sad thing is that look now with that gaunt, whatever might be in today, but all of a sudden somebody else will come along and
10 years later, it's not going to be in, and
it's
you're
not
gonna-
going to be in, and then now you're at the point of no return, man. You can't do
Mhm.
anything
That's right.
about it.
Well, that's I guess what for actresses especially and actors, I guess. If it's just a filler, it's a temporary thing, goes away, and they can just do whatever the new thing is to
That's
do.
right.
I guess.
That's right. But when you do something permanent, that's
Yeah.
what they call it a permit. That's what the word means.
Mhm.
And so, you bought something that might be difficult to change or reverse.
Yeah, you can fix it, but it's never going to look exactly like how you imagine. And
Yeah.
that's
No.
how people are like, okay, well, if I just get one more filler right here, then I'll look perfect. And then it comes out not looking perfect, and they go, okay, I just need one more filler right here, then I'll look perfect.
Yeah.
And they do this 50 times, and they end up looking like not even human.
Yeah,
anymore.
there's a ton of that kind of stuff on Instagram about women that just they are overblown fillers and things because they don't want any lines at all. Even when they smile, they don't want to see a line. They're just freaked out if there's a
Yeah, that's
and it's gonna looks
you
terrible.
Always, you always find somebody who will take that money
Yes.
and get rid of that line for you, or
Yep.
try to get rid of that line for you. And that's why you got to be careful. But some people,
Aging
don't
is
care.
it's a thing that happens. What can you do?
Yeah.
Can't do anything about it.
yeah,
sorry.
well,
Yeah.
there's some things we can do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean-
don't put me out of a job here.
Yeah,
Ralph,
there-
I need to ask this a professional opinion. This whole Ozempic thing is bound to come back and bite people in the ass. It just seems to me that is it going to go down that fen route where eventually they're going to realize that this is life-threatening stuff. The way I would imagine at this point, it's obviously being used by a lot of celebrities, but is it being abused by celebrities and they're overdoing it? And is it going to come back and get them?
That's the
Because
problem. Is a lot of people are using it's like I'm 5 pounds overweight, so I'm just going to get on Ozempic.
Well,
And
and
it's like that's definitely not something you should do.
And
Have you
nobody
seen
should worry
the-
about 5 pounds.
have
Yeah,
you
exactly.
seen the latest information about like what type of weight you're losing?
No.
Like if you diet and exercise, you're losing it's like 75% from fat and then some from muscle.
Oh yeah.
But Ozempic, it's like I want to get the right.
What's the problem is
stats,
people
but it's like
think
it's
it's-
very high from muscle.
That's
and
because
not as
people
much
think you
from
can just
fat.
take this pill and it'll like magically cure you.
because you're
But-
losing weight,
right.
but there's different
But you have to also diet
ways
and
of weight.
exercise.
Yeah.
Otherwise, because I mean, if you don't exercise, you're going to atrophy regardless. So you can't just be like, I'm going to take this pill and lay on the couch all day and I'll be thin soon. That's not how it works.
But that's the magic bullet everyone's looking for.
Yeah. Everybody
Yep.
just wants a Band-Aid.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Well, the thing behind it is it actually curbs the appetite. It's not right. Is that what the whole deal?
I have a friend that's been on it for a while, and she lost, I don't know, 50 pounds.
It's
And
pretty
she
good.
said for her, what it does is self-described. She says it takes away the food noise.
Right. I've heard it like basically gets rid of the addiction.
Mhm.
It's like you're just constantly craving food. You take this, and
You
apparently
never feel full.
Your stomach doesn't empty as well. That's one of the problems with anesthetics when you're on
that, believe
Ozempic.
me, I know anesthetics can.
Yeah, so that's an issue,
Mhm.
and that's one of the effects that it does. It also has metabolic effects
Mhm.
with regards to changing how you metabolize certain things. But if you don't exercise, you're just
Yep.
you're just gonna clean out whatever it's gonna clean out.
Yeah, you can use it, but you have to be
Yeah,
careful
yeah, you
with
do have
it,
to
and you have to do the work. You
And-
still have to do the
That's right.
exercise. You
And the
still have to eat
recidivism
well.
is very high when you stop it if you are not
Oh, yeah.
continuing a strict diet
Yep.
and
Mhm.
exercise.
Well, and it's I was reading a whole thing about how older people, like people over 60, should be very cautious about Ozempic because it can take away your muscle mass
They
and
have
it
to
can make
exercise,
and it can make your bones weaker. And
Yeah.
like as you age, your muscle mass just naturally goes down and your
Sure
bones get weaker.
does.
So it can exacerbate that, and it can cause like
Yep,
like
I
they're
said,
like over time, it's so new they don't
Mhm.
know.
Yeah, like I said,
What's-
it's not a magical pill.
Well, it's not that new. No,
It's actually relatively old.
It's
For-
it's been around for pre-diabetic and things.
Yeah.
like
I would
that.
say
It's been
yeah
around
for
a while.
how it's being used.
This is an
now,
off-label use.
it's
Well, it
been-
was an
yeah.
off-label use. I don't know if it still is.
No, they changed
No,
it.
it's FDA approved
It's
now.
FDA approved for weight loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a choice, but man, it's just is it the other thing you have to reflect on? Is it safer than having the surgery, having a bariatric surgery?
As someone who's had
Yeah.
more surgeries than I would prefer, I would do pretty much anything to not have surgery again at this
Yeah.
point.
Well, that's the thing.
So-
That's the other choice is that you take Ozempic. If you're pre-diabetic, you got 100, 200 pounds to lose. Ozempic might be the best thing,
Right.
Because it might be safer
Mhm.
than surgery.
But isn't the same problem with the surgery as people will end up?
People overeat the surgery all the time. I
Yeah.
mean, the recidivism
It's
after
just
They
amazing.
stretch their stomach back out and it basically has
or they just
they're
change their
back in-
diet. I mean, you can
drink
you
your calories.
can,
Yep.
you can drink a
Yep.
lot of calories in milkshakes.
Oh yeah, you absolutely can.
Yeah, well, that's why I mean, a lot of people won't do bariatric surgery unless you've like lost a certain amount of weight on your own
Mhm.
to show that you can
Oh,
diet.
you can diet. That's.
But
You're
Talking my 600-pound life.
yeah,
I've
I don't
seen
know if
that.
that-
Oh,
I
It's
don't
like,
know if that helps.
That's what they've projected. But the reality is, if you got the money and you want that
Oh, yeah,
surgery,
I mean-
you're getting that surgery.
yes, like
So,
you said,
there you
you'll
go.
find anybody
Yeah,
that'll
there you
do
go.
it for you. But there are some people that are like, same thing with like people that get gender confirmation surgery. You'll find somebody who will give it to you.
Yep.
But I
Whatever
know
surgery you want out there,
yeah,
you
like,
can get. If
I
you
know
look hard
somebody
enough.
that went through it and she had to go through, I think, 2 years of therapy before the doctor that
I
she
don't think it's
wanted
like
to
that
do it.
anymore.
No, it isn't.
No,
Unfortunately.
No,
They're
but-
setting up these clinics. everywhere.
Although it's starting to reverse now. They've realized that what a horrible, horrible mistake that was.
Well, they found that there's been a lot of physical problems with taking puberty blockers.
Of course there is.
So,
Well, puberty block is a different thing. I'm
That's a
talking about
start.
like older people that
Oh.
get.
Duke University had a program 20, 30 years ago.
funded by the Pritzkers.
No, well, I don't know who funded it, but they had a program, transgender surgery. This was, at least 30, maybe 40 years ago. And they shut it down because psychiatric issues before and
Mhm.
after were exactly the same.
Yep. It doesn't actually cure anything.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. That's,
Yeah.
it's just like obesity. You're trading a psychiatric problem for a surgical
A
problem.
physical one.
I'm
Yep.
sorry, but I worry that's what's going on.
Oh yeah, I knew somebody that went. Very close friend of mine was male, turned female, and I remember when he told me that he was going to change his gender and everything. And I was like, oh, that's great. Like, I really hope this is what you're looking for, because he had drug problems and
works,
drinking
yeah.
problems. And like, I really hope this is what helps you feel safe and happy.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
then, you know, became a woman and became a Wiccan and a medium and collects rats. And, you know, it's just like, oh, that didn't make you
really-
any happier at all.
No.
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 I mean, still a woman though.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they are happier.
Yeah,
So,
you
I
never.
don't know,
I guess
but,
you never
but,
know.
like,
But
still has mental health problems.
yeah,
Yeah, well, you will.
unfortunately.
Which, I mean,
I
I'm
don't
not
think
saying
hormones
that
are going
people.
to change that.
No, I'm not saying that people that are transgender have a mental health problem, but she definitely does.
Well, we all have mental health problems to a certain extent.
This is
Too true.
true.
But you have to be very, you have to be very careful. You know, like I've said, obesity is an eating disorder. You
Yeah,
know,
it's just
you
like
choo-
it's
you're
the opposite of
choosing to eat a
anorexia.
lot.
Eating
You're
disorder,
choosing
yes,
to
for
eat
sure.
a lot,
Yep.
and there's a reason for that. You didn't become obese because your car broke down in front of McDonald's.
Right.
Yep.
Well, it's
know,
like
there's-
alcoholics. It's
that's
like
right.
something's making you an alcoholic.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
No one's
So-
an alcoholic because they just love feeling hungover every day.
No.
There you have it. All right, the morning show's up next.
Oh, good.
Okay. We started late, so we're
So I will talk with you on Friday, Tommy, about Deadpool and Wolverine.
Looking
boy.
forward to
We'll
it.
talk more about that next week as
And
well.
that drops this weekend.
On Friday, yeah, Thursday night, you'll be able to see it in previews. It's going to be a monstrously successful movie. Rated R, though. I mean, which
Right.
generally is not good, but the first two Deadpool movies defied that whole thing. I mean, you know, it'll be huge. It'll be the biggest movie of the summer. Right now, that biggest movie, believe it or not, is Inside Out 2.
I definitely believe that.
Woohoo!
Well, yeah, I mean, and again, open for such of a wide audience. Whereas, you know,
Mhm.
Deadpool and Wolverine, if they follow the rules, 17 and up, or accompanied by an adult, but doesn't matter. It's going to be huge.
There it is. We will talk to you tomorrow.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
Night.
Got a picture in my pocket, reminds me of his woes before. Every time I hear the singing, reminds me how you talking.